This is a video comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 versus the Nexus 5X. Now, the Galaxy Note 5 and the Nexus 5X, for 2 months now, I've been using the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 pretty much the whole 2 months. I took about 2 weeks away from the Note, not totally, but most of the time, because I was working on the iPhone, both iPhones. So I can honestly say that this Samsung so far has been the best experience that I've had with a Samsung device. It's my first Samsung device, but I've used others before, but not for this long period of time. I believe it's the best Samsung Note. It's the best Samsung device ever made. But we're talking about Nexus. Nexus, stock Android. Now, even though you guys may see this as a mid-range phone, I see this as a heavy-duty player when it comes to these phones. Now, you may look at the Note and you may say this is a phablet. But what Samsung been able to do, shrink these bezel down, cram in a 5.7-inch Quad HD display in a phone's body. Samsung did a great job with this phone. It just fits in the hand real snug. I love the metal build with the glass on glass look. This glass back has what I call edge appeal. It has the edge in the back. So in other words, it has the edge screen in the back that makes the phone fit in your hand real comfortable. So instead of putting it in the front, they did that edge design in the back that makes the phone fit in your hand real comfortable. And that's a plus for Samsung. Great job. But with the Nexus 5X, they made plastic with a purpose, man. They made plastic. It's plastic, but it feels rubberized. It feels rubbery. It feels like it'll give you some grip. This phone is not sliding out your hand. Now, it's a very light phone, and it feels like you're holding nothing. But still, the phone has grip. But usability in the hand, of course, this is going to feel better in the hand than the Note. But the Note definitely feels good. So, pretty much, they both feel good in the hand. Now, you can see right here, just by seeing the difference between the screens, and we're going to talk about that right now. This is a 5.2-inch 1080p display versus this Quad HD. No doubt, we know who the winner is. Samsung. Samsung wins when it comes to the screen, but make sure you know that this 1080p screen is very good, very well done. The nits are not real high or real low. Well, it can go real low, but it doesn't get as high. And I believe they did that to hold some battery life, which is a good idea. But other than that, the screen on the Samsung is superior. But you may look at this phone and you see like it looks like dual speakers, but it's not. It's actually one speaker at the bottom. But this one speaker at the bottom is better than Samsung speaker at the total bottom. It's better than Samsung's nano speaker. This nano speaker on the 5X is a little bit better, I would say. Front facing camera, they're both 5 megapixels, and I'm going to give that a straight up wash. Now, when you come to the back camera, surprisingly, I'm going to tell you straight up, this Nexus 5X camera is on point. And at the end of the day, this phone is going to get more props for its camera. But because of the lack of OIS, because that I feel that there's something lacking about the 5X camera versus the 6P. For some reason, I feel the 6P camera is just a little bit better in some type of way. It's better. So, the 5X is a very good camera, very good fast flash. Laser focusing is good. HDR mode is great. The flash is really bright. I think the flash definitely is brighter than the Samsung Note. But the Samsung Note with its 16 megapixel camera takes better shots than the Nexus 5. This camera has to go down with the LG G4 and the V10 as best camera phone on the market, period. Now, normally with Nexus phones, you get wireless charging. But this time, Nexus with LG has ditched. Google with LG has ditched the wireless charging because they've gone USB-C. You get regular micro USB with the Samsung Note 5, and also you get wireless charging. Now, I find wireless charging on the Note to be an issue when it comes to aftermarket chargers, but it definitely works perfectly when it's with its own Samsung charger. And Samsung, I think it hasn't came out yet, but Samsung has fast wireless charging, so that's definitely a plus. Now, with the Nexus USB-C, it also has fast charging in there, and it works very well. It charges up the phone faster than the Samsung, but it's because, you know, it has a smaller battery. But battery life is longer on the Note. You can get a good 10 to 12 hours under heavy use with this Nexus 5X. You know, you can kill it in 8 hours. You really can, if you're really doing some heavy use with the screen on real bright. And I mean, you're not putting down the phone for nothing. You're just using the phone. You know, you're really not using. But when you're not using the phone under really moderate light use, you can pretty much go a good 16-hour day with this 5X. And you could definitely do that with the Note. But the Note don't have that doze feature where when you put the phone down, it's still losing charge, whether you use it or not. So you would think it's almost like a wash, but definitely the Note 5 got better battery life than this 5X. It just does. It just does. But the 5X is a definite improvement over the 5. Superstar improvement. If you use the phone moderately, it may outdo the Note. If you use it very moderately because of that doze feature. So on battery life, if you're a moderate user, you may get more time out of the 5X. But with some good usage, you can get longer battery life with the Note 5. Output in, you know, out the 3.5mm jacks on these phones. The output on the Samsung is top notch. It's really good. On the Nexus 5X, I'm finding some issues. First of all, when you plug this in, you have to push it in real hard, and I don't like that. I don't like that. But I find people are not hearing me that well with this. So I'm still checking it out, but it seems to be an issue. I think I probably got a bad unit when it comes to this. But no, I'm not making no excuses. When it comes to the output, I got to give it to the Samsung. Now, no straight up on the builds. I know I spoke about it a little bit earlier, but they have the volume key and the power button on one side. And even though it's plastic and, you know, a lot of people may say it's cheap, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But it doesn't, the placement of the Samsung is just in better place. The way it feels is just better. So buttons, the feel, I gotta give it to Samsung. But there's a love affair that I have with this Nexus and this plastic rubbery feel. I love the way it looks in the back. It just looks boss. It's a clean look. You know, with Samsung, you know, it's not as clean. It's not as nice. I don't like no wordings at the bottom. That's unnecessary. You can still see it. You know, the way it gets all this fingerprints and it's grimy and you constantly got to wipe it down, and within a couple of minutes it's back looking the same way. I honestly got to say, in long-term usage, you're going to admire your Nexus 5X longer than you're going to admire your Note 5. I got a couple of hairline scratches here. You can't even see it with all the fingerprints. A couple of hairline scratches. I don't know how. I normally keep the phone so nice and neat and I still got a scratch. So long term, I'm gonna admire this phone longer than this phone over that build. But out of the little qualms that I have with the Note, it's a superior phone over the Nexus 5X. And definitely, when you pull out this S Pen, it's game over. Unfortunately, you know, the Note 5 has an edge when it comes to this S Pen. This S Pen gives it that edge, gives it that superiority over other phones. So in this comparison, straight up, Samsung wins. Period.